he was fabulous. You know, he has the ability with his step backs to even like in switches, like he's going to take you and then just pull back and just get himself into a great rhythm. And that's something we talked about, like, you know, do we play out of a drop there and just veer back to it? And then he's just going to dribble, you know, he's just going to dribble back and play one-on-one basketball. Or do we hedge it, get the ball out of his hands, and now we're in rotations. So what you saw at the end of the game is what we adjusted and did. And then you obviously see now we're in scramble mode. And so now you're in those rotations. So we wanted to stay out of those rotations and then play him and try to be in gaps. And he hit a lot of tough shots over us, obviously. But, you know, hats off to him. That was probably the most impressive performance. Evan Turner came in here one time and played pretty well. That's probably one of the most impressive performance, if not the most impressive performance we've had, you know, in Mackey Arena from an opponent.
Obviously, you knew keeping them off the offensive boards was going to be significant. Just where do you put the effort on that as far as how this game was decided?
I think, to me, even though he gets 46 points, like that's the game. Like if you look at our stats, you shoot 57% from the field, you shoot 37 from three, you shoot 82 from the line, you turn the ball over 3 times. That's a win. But then all of a sudden you go and say you got out-rebounded by 14, and there lies the difference. I still believe their ability to rebound was the difference in the game. Obviously, Keaton Wagler was fabulous and made big shot after big shot. But if we handle a couple of those free throw box outs, we even that up. There's no doubt that we win this game, but we didn't. And give them credit. They're great at offensive rebounding, and yeah, give them credit. They were great.
Kind of going off that, some of those offensive rebounds are just balls that got volleyballed around, tapped around, and they came up with it. But there was one particular where they got, I think, 3 offensive rebounds and then get a 3 out of it.
Yeah.
Why were they so successful at just kind of hustling, getting to the ball maybe better than you guys?
Well, that's what they do. Like I think they're 7th in the country in offensive rebounding. They're 1st in our league, and you know, they have guys that are committed that go, and you know, whether they're guards or whether they're bigs, and because he gets offensive rebounds too. He didn't today, Wagler. He didn't today, but he. But just across the board, they're a very good offensive rebounding team, and you know, you have to be able to rebound at the rim. You got to be able to rebound away from the rim. You got to be able to step to your man, get him on your backside, and then go get the basketball. They did a better job than we did.
Keaton missed his first 3 and then hit a couple right away. But you're thinking, uh-oh, like I've seen this before.
Say that again.
Keaton missed his first 3 and then made a couple right away. Were you thinking, oh, I've seen this?
Yeah, you know, the thing that didn't happen in the first half was nobody else got good shots, right? And he had the one-on-one play, and like, you know, we're up 11 points with 7 minutes to go, and we're in a good spot. They did a way better job than we did finishing the first half, and they did a way better job of starting the second half, and that's always a very important sequence, you know, in the game. But, you know, with him, we knew he could make one-on-one plays. Like it wasn't something that we were like, hey, this is going to be the end-all, be-all, and we're stopping him here. You know, it was like the lesser of 2 evils. And now you're like, hey, let's try to swarm the basketball. Let's stay up into the basketball so he can't, you know, get into that rhythm. And obviously that didn't work. He got into that rhythm. But we knew right as we changed and we went to hedging and doing some different things. We actually tried to deny him a couple times and not get the ball back. Then he just back cut us and got there, and that got us into a rotation. So like the high, heavy hedges gets us into a rotation. The denying and when he back cuts gets us into a rotation, and like we wanted to stay out of that, but we also know he was going. We mixed it up and we gave some different looks, and that's what you saw at the end when Tommy hits that 3, when Jake Davis hits that 3, and then the other 3 in that sequence. That's us in rotations. We didn't get those in the first half. He got them all right. Like he handled all that, and so. You know, give them credit. You know, they're very good offensively. They're the #1 offense in the country for a reason, and that doesn't start with like elite talent as much as it starts with elite decision making. They have very good decision making. They have very good coaches, like in terms of their offensive schemes and what they do, and you know, they got the best of us today.
And Coach, often on the drop coverages, Illinois is working for a switch with a big on Keaton almost every single possession, and from there you got big pulled out to the 3-point line. Do you think about big being pulled out was part of the reason why they got so many offensive rebounds?
Yeah, you get inverted, so you have, when you switch that and you take away the action, now you got small guys playing post defense. Then for us, they didn't get any of those over the top. So think about the post ups that they got. We would go right into a double if it got thrown out. If it got thrown to the rim, we were going to come in and steal the basketball. They didn't get any of those at the rim when we took those away. But what it does is it holds you low. So when it holds you low right there and shots go up, you got to go out because your man's the furthest from the basketball. And that's the hardest thing to cover. Like we worked on, I know it didn't look like it, but we worked on that and we just said, hey, you got to be able to scrap for the basketball and be able to do that. Now, to your question, when you have that inverted, we told those guys that, our centers, our power forwards, if you're on the perimeters and shot goes, you got to go get the basketball. Because if you stay and hold a box out at 18 feet and it's around the rim, those guys are in a bad spot because they're playing post defense. So it's the downside of when you switch is now, and that was our thing. We felt like, can we rebound here? And we had to do a better job there. We had to be around the basketball and do a better job. But yeah, that's a good question.
Coach, back here, you go to Indiana on Tuesday. How does the experience and maturity of this team help in terms of responding to these two losses and getting ready to go play a rival on the road?
Yeah, it's, anytime you have two losses in this league, especially when you start off 7-0, right? And so you start off 7-0, then you have two tough losses like this, no matter who you're playing. You just want this taste out of your mouth, losing stinks. So we got to go on the road and, play a good basketball team. And the thing with it is these guys, were 18 for 38 from three today. In Indiana, that's their strength, is the shooting the basketball. So, you jump right back into that beehive. Now you got to go guard and rebound. It's the same thing. So, you want to answer the bell, right? You want to answer the bell and compete. But it's going to be tough. They have a good team.
Yeah, Meyer gets 21 minutes today. I think he had 19 against USC the other day, which is up a decent amount. I guess just what have you seen from him here?
Yeah, he made some shots for us, and we stuck with him. And it's one of those things where, as the game unfolds, obviously TK, he got into some foul trouble, so him and JB were, kind of going, back and forth with that. But yeah, we stayed with him. He made some shots, made some plays, and I thought he played well.
Anything else? Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Right.